Welcome to the Awaken on Purpose podcast, where each week you'll hear inspirational stories of heart-centered leaders who have awakened to their higher purpose and taken that leap of faith to follow their heart and make an impact in the world. Get ready to be enlightened, empowered, and transformed with your host, Jennifer Spohr.
Super excited to welcome as a guest to the show today, Dr. Stephania Sciamano. She's a wealth energy doctor who spent 9 years in private natural medicine practice before working exclusively with ambitious women to increase wealth and energy in all its forms. The successful women who come into her practice are powerful, experienced manifestors, female magicians, yet the cycle of win, crash is frustrating the hell out of them. She believes that powerful women experience a specific set of mental and physical symptoms at higher levels of success. And conventional solutions don't work because they don't address wealth consciousness or masculine-feminine dynamics. Her protocol assesses, arrests, and then reverses the slide. Her clients calm their nerves, lose the mental slumps, become sexy again to themselves and their partners, and create consistent windfalls of cash in their specific genius without the crash. Welcome, Stefania. I'm super excited to have you here.
Hello. Thank you.
Stefania, what inspired you to do the work that you're doing today?
Well, honestly, I had built quite a medical practice in my 30s, right out of medical school. And what I found was that the ambitious push, drive, just keep doing more, you can do a little bit more, sort of a mindset that had gotten me through medical school was not going to work anymore. I had gotten to a point, especially after the birth of my son in 2012, where I realized, oh boy, those days are over. So, and then I tried all of the basic naturopathic things like, let me address stress and sleep and my adrenal health and things like that. And it still wasn't working. There was a deeper, a little more spiritual aspect to what was going on with my body. And I noticed that everything that went on with my business was also affecting my body. And that was a massive wake-up call. I found that if I had a huge win in my business, my body would crash out. And it wasn't just because I was working more hours. It was because my body was reacting to how much energy was coming in, kind of what I thought I was going to need to do to handle the money, to handle the clients. So it was a huge awakening time for me when I saw how it was all connected.
That's so true that everything is connected. So many people are conditioned to believe that physical ailments, or disease is like separate from whatever they're managing, mentally and spiritually. It's amazing when we're able to awaken to that connection.
Yeah. And then go, oh boy, my old way doesn't work.
Right? I feel like we're always evolving too. Like there's also always another layer of consciousness in terms of just gaining a deeper understanding of that.
Agreed. Yes.
Every experience in our lives serves a higher purpose in shaping who we are. What experience in your life do you feel has been the most significant in shaping who you've become today?
I think it's a combination of, like I had mentioned, the birth of my son really changed me and made me slow down and become sort of more feminine. Because I had been in the sort of the masculine role in my life of building and striving and pushing and doing and goals. And that does not work as a new mom, especially, a sleep-deprived new mom. And he's 7 now, so those days are past. But once I kind of came through that, I realized that my relationship to men in general, and then what else is masculine, meaning money, goals, building, action, that needed to change as well. That was actually where it all came to a head. And the split up of myself with my son's father, which still a great idea. So I'm not saying it wasn't, but more of a, oh, I see what I'm doing in relation to how I let myself be provided for without all the work having to be me. And that's a really big lesson for independent, ambitious women.
It is, absolutely. And on that note, what would be, I know I'm kind of going off track a little bit here, but I'm curious, what would be your piece of advice for other women in terms of stepping more into that space?
I think learning what masculine and feminine dynamics are already present in your life. So it almost never fails with highly ambitious women, oh my goodness, doctors are terrible with this, said with love, but a lot of women in corporate and on all kinds of like high-powered, highly educated roles, we do not know how to be in a feminine, or what like the Chinese would call yin, like yin and yang. We don't know how to be in a yin frequency. And when I say frequency, I mean the energy of your body, the energy of how you move about the world. We are taught like everything comes from your hard work, everything. And in a way that can be true, especially in your younger age when you have all of these energetic reserves. But then as you get a little older, you don't want to work that hard. Or you do kind of want to let somebody help you. And it's like, you just don't even know how. Like no one teaches us this. And a lot of us, I'm in my mid 40s, we kind of rode on the coattails of the feminist movement that was really around when we were kids. And that taught everyone, we don't need a man. It was that saying, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. And I don't remember whose quote that was. And then you get a little older and you're like, wait a minute, it sure would be easier. And I don't mean just romantically, I mean masculine energetics, even in a more spiritual, like from the divine, allowing the unseen energies of the world, of the universe, to bring things to you, to provide for you, whether it's the stability of a home, money in your business, new clients, all kinds of these masculine energetics that we're all trying to get more of, is infinitely easier if you find a way to be in more of a yin or feminine frequency in your body, words, and actions.
I just resonate so much with what you're saying. And especially, people who, I think a lot of this comes from childhood, right? Like for myself, I had some deeply rooted survival issues, having been on my own at a young age. So I feel like when you're also coming from a place of always having to do.
Oh, yes.
It can be, challenging to step into that space. I feel like as with anything else, having the knowledge about something is great, but really where it's at is in our ability to apply that, right? And in our desire to actually make that transformation.
Yeah, you have to want it to change. And a lot of women at first, it just feels too unsafe. Like they would become too vulnerable, like their soft underbelly would be showing. And then what happens, since it feels like, it's sort of on the table now, a lot of people have traumas, they may have had an absent or abusive father. There can be a lot of relationships with men that caused a lot of pain, rejection, and abandonment. So every woman is different in her set of circumstances, emotions, memories, family, cultural things. And yes, that all does come into account. However, I really think that we as women have a deep desire to have a life that flows a little more, where we are allowed and have sort of the luxury to be softer and still get what you want. I think this is where the misconception comes in a lot. We've gotten what we want by being hard-driven women. And then around 40, 45, it's like, oh boy, am I tired.
I really resonate with that too. I'm also in my mid 40s. So.
Like, I don't want to do it like this anymore.
Exactly.
And then someone says to be soft and open, and you're like, no. That's what I hear all the time. Like, how am I going to do that? Or, oh, right, so I can get taken advantage of. This is just how we think. And there really, really is an easier, softer, more wealth and body supporting way.
Absolutely. And those feelings that you mentioned of having to drive and do and feeling unsafe, if we lean into that other space, that really comes from our ego mind. I feel like it's so important in terms of our journey of growth and consciousness to really learn how to recognize our intuition as guidance as well, because it's very different from what I refer to as the mind chatter.
Agreed. Intuition. Interestingly, the way that I teach it, at least, is that intuition is a highly masculine way to be. So the feminine opens to the intuition coming in. So yes, there is such a thing as feminine intuition, but what it requires is for the woman herself to be open to the intuition coming in or penetrating and landing, and then to do something about it. So
that makes so much sense.
And what we do is, if we don't trust masculine in general, whether that's father, lover, brother, husband, the patriarchy, as some people call men, or even like the masculine aspect of the divine or God, if we don't have that trust, the intuition is not fully trusted. So then, whether it could be you don't act on it, or you act on it kind of half-assed, and then it doesn't quite work out the way you want, which only compounds mistrust, right? So it's this deep openness to truly receiving and trusting and acting upon the intuition. That can be like the absolute turning point for women, where they go, oh, you just do that? But there's steps to it, of course. But as you had said, intuition it's everything.
Yeah, it really is. There are, especially with everything that's swirling around in our world right now, there are a lot of people who are revisiting their why, kind of revisiting their own values and what they believe in. And there are more people than ever, I believe, that are at that crossroads where they're feeling called to gain clarity in their purpose, to do something to make a bigger impact. What advice would you have for those people to be able to take action to move forward?
Well, first is a sort of a cliche thing to say, and it might even make a few eyes roll, but it's still incredibly true. And that is, you already know. You already know what your magic is. And the reason I'm saying that first is because sometimes we just look under rocks and go to healer after healer, or get intuitive readings to tell me what is my purpose? Tell me what is my magic? And when you finally are told what it is, it's sort of like, yeah, I already knew that. So it's that learning to trust what is coming out of you, what I call your medicine or your magic, what you give to the world through you as your soul level work that does create change in the world for other humans, for your clients. There's this knowing inside that I truly believe every woman already has. And if she is able to learn the true yes and no that your body will communicate, sometimes that's enough to really get the ball rolling on your intuition. It doesn't always have to be what you see in the movies or what we sort of wish for, like a lightning bolt and a thunderous voice of "this is your purpose." It's not really like that. It's usually subtle whispers. So I find that most women, if they can at least get to where they can trust the yes and they can trust the no that they're getting from their body, then that's an enormous step in the right direction.
And the way that feeling from our bodies, the way that comes through is unique for each person, I believe. It's kind of learning how to recognize what that is for you, right?
Yeah, it's a combination of what is your own language. When your body says no, sometimes people get what I call their greatest hits. If you're doing something going down the wrong path, some people might always get headaches or always get insomnia. I always get like a digestive issue. Like I get like bloated for no reason, and I feel like I just want to lay down. And that's when I know that's it's a dash of anxiety in my body going, wrong way, and you're not listening sort of thing. So it's knowing your own yes and no and how that shows up. In addition to, if people still have a lot of unresolved trauma, the yes and no can be fear-based rather than truth-based. So knowing yourself and where you are on your personal and spiritual and personal development path is going to be important too, to get those accurate answers.
What you said there is complete gold. It's so true. It's important for us to step back and question our deeper motives behind the decisions that we're making, because absolutely there is that element. There can be that element of fear for sure. For me, I know when I am kind of going the wrong direction or whatever, like my solar plexus tightens up. Mm-hmm. I can physically feel it.
Yep. You might have a similar signal to me. Mine's right in the middle of the belly like that. And I'll find myself going, what did I eat? Like what happened? And realize, oh, I'm going against my better judgment, aren't I?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I completely resonate with that. Stefania, how can someone find you if they want to connect with you and learn more about what you're up to? Where is the best place for them to go?
Well, I do have a website, stephaniasciamano.com, but I find most people really want to get a feel for my work and sort of communicate with me, get to know me as my personality, or even see some of my free videos. And that's all in a Facebook group called Wealth Medicine, just Wealth Medicine, and it's free. I do videos and different kinds of informational, or even I have a quirky sense of humor, kind of wicked sense of humor. So people get to know me there. And people just love being in that group. So
great. And we'll be sure to include a link to your Facebook group in the show notes as well for the listeners who are interested in getting in touch with you. Stefania, you're just such a joy. I just love speaking with you. And thank you so much for coming on as a guest today. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you for listening to the Awake and On Purpose podcast. Please visit us and subscribe to the podcast at awakeandonpurpose.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can connect with your higher purpose and take that leap of faith to make your impact in the world, visit us at jenniferspor.com. And while you're there, be sure to join our email list for exclusive offers and a weekly dose of inspiration.